Hey, welcome to another episode of Naked with Dr. Money. I'm Dr. Stephanie Ardrey, and I'm happy to see you today. Seems like a lot has happened since last week. I don't know about you. My week has been filled with a bunch. I'm finally back at, as they say, home base. I feel like I haven't been here for almost 2 months. In the last 2 weeks in California, I went from northern to all the way down to San Diego to all the way, I covered a lot of territory while I was there, from being part of the LA Art Show to Freeze to Dot Red had a special conversations regarding Basquiat's influence on several key artists in the Los Angeles market. So there was a panel that included Fred Hoffman, Autumn Brion, and Knowledge Bennett. So that was an outstanding event, and I was glad to be part of that too. Hanging out with friends throughout the week, to then ending this past weekend with attending both the NAACP Image Awards and after parties, things I haven't done in many moons. So a very filled a week. Wow. So, as many of you know, what is Naked with Dr. Money? Naked with Dr. Money is my behind the scenes look as I'm building my global multinational organization wellness business. So while I'm working on things like acquisitions, raising capital, building out our teams, all of our training and infrastructure, technologies, all of those things, all of those foundational things that you need to put in place. But all of this happened while I also was finishing up law school. Some of you know that I spent the last 3.5 years in law school. And originally, when I started law school, I was thinking that I would continue with some of my business that I was operating out of. California. I had a commercial brokerage and finance and business brokerage firm that I was operating while sourcing real estate development deals. And so I was presented with an opportunity to potentially develop a casino in Las Vegas. And I had loved working in Vegas. I used to fly to Vegas. We were acquiring underperforming apartment buildings, and then I would convert them to condo. And since I don't have any gambling issues, flying to Vegas, I would tell people I could get to John Wayne, jump on a flight from Vegas, be in my rental car and appointment in less time than I could drive from Orange County to LA. So I loved my Vegas runs. Like, that was just happy times for me, right? Pull up valet, and John Wayne is just, a cool airport to be exiting from. But anyway, so I kind of got a little bit wordy on all of that. But anyway, so that's how I ended up in Vegas, for those of you who wonder what's the connection between Vegas and California. But then also I noticed that for the Dr. Money brand, which was going to be, getting back out on the speaking circuit, that shoots, instead of me flying around to corporations around the country, most of the corporations like to host events right here in Las Vegas. So I could drive 20 minutes, and do a keynote or whatever, a lunchtime, a breakfast, whatever. So, Vegas is a little bit of, a place where I could get some extra bag, right? Just because. So anyway, so that's why I'm still playing in the Vegas market. For those of you who are curious, I have plans. That's why it's, getting that bag with Dr. Money. All of that is real. But anyway, today, I have a very special guest, a dear friend. We were able to catch up over the weekend, which was so lovely. And when I shared with her about, Naked with Dr. Money and this sort of behind the scenes look at how I maintain my mind, body, and soul, I'm telling you all that you can maintain your mind, body, and soul while doing your life, right? And guess what? It's working. I wish I could show you guys this dress that I'm in today. I'm telling you, I couldn't believe it. But this is fire, right? So it's working. It's working. And so mind, body, and soul. So anyway, without any further ado, I am going to introduce you all to my dear friend, Miss Wendy Wheaton. And we are going to continue our conversation. We are going to talk about mindset, motivations, and manifesting. Okay. All right. So, Wendy, hey,
Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
Great. It was good just recently seeing you just a few days back, and it's really nice for you to be on the West Coast because for so long you were international and in Jamaica. World traveler you are from Dubai and different places. So I really do cherish when we get to have FaceTime and hang out.
I know it was so good to see, and then to be able to see Tommy too, and then the whole Boston crew. So it was like, yeah, it was really great. Really,
Impromptu,
really
I might add. That's very
great.
important. As busy as we are, it is very important to find the time, and you always do, which is busy as you are. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah, I believe that I've always said that, I plan the things that I can plan so that I have room for spontaneity. But I also, I guess, just, I don't know, part of it probably had to do with a lot of being an only child, that I valued my relationships. And so I remember when I was younger, I used to feel like I was a better friend to my friends than they were to me because I sort of felt like, you know, I needed their relationship maybe more than they needed mine because maybe they had siblings or so on and so forth. But it's been really interesting because when I look at the relationships that I have, that's one of the things that people say is that they pick up the phone and it's like we talked yesterday, but there's enough continuity that those relationships have legs. You know what I mean? It's like no matter where it is that I am, I may go, in the cave, but then as soon as I finish, then I come up and try to, reconnect and, and touch and feel everyone just so that those relationships have meaningful memories associated
Right.
with them. Yeah.
Absolutely. The balance is very important, like you're saying, balance. I often find girlfriends that are, it seems like the more successful you get, the busier you are, and the least reachable you are as well. And so many friends kind of keep their other girlfriends, guy friends in check by saying, hey, you need some downtime. And that's what this is about, like you're talking about mind, body, and spirit. And we all can be our successful trailblazing people, but just everything you're saying is important no matter where you're at. Me personally, as a businesswoman, at home with a 7-year old, almost 7-year old, I waited later in life because I knew when I was younger and I was busier that I just didn't have time to vote, but I always did want to have kids. So my little one is just as active and busy, but I have the time and the balance, to be able to, do things with her and make sure her schedule is filled on the weekend. My business deals and the things that I'm working on constantly, which involve the majority of TV and reality shows and documentaries, but a lot of networking.
Mhm.
Also represent a lot of celebrities that are high profile, but kind of need that extra push in terms of business development, endorsement deals, and just getting back out there in different arenas. So I enjoy that. That's my passion. That's my the things that drive me. But what also drives me is knowing when to slow down, knowing when I need to just have some quiet time. And we were talking about, reading books, some of the things that I do. I make sure I get out and I walk. I walk with my daughter to school instead of jumping in the car, which I could do that too, but I make sure I walk. I spend time with girlfriends. I spend time with friends. And those are some of the things that I do just to have some downtime and just to kind of, exhale.
Absolutely. Well, it's one of the things that I was thinking about, which is part of why with the 420 Beauty Bear brand, our initial wellness weeks were focused on, you have to be there a minimum of 7 days. But now with Beauty Bear, we have 4-day packages for that reason, so that girlfriends can do a girlfriend getaway and, get a little touch of healing and beauty and all of that stuff with our extra special stuff. And keep it pushing to the next time, right? Yeah.
That's cool because you and I, that's one thing that we also do. We network, but we've gone on vacation several times. We're like
Yeah.
Gail and Oprah, where from Barbados to wherever we've been, that we're there to kind of unwind and just take it in. And I'll never forget the time that we were in Barbados, and in the August summer months, and you wanted to go into the ice cave. I couldn't believe that. So I was like, we left to be in, 90, 100-degree weather, and you want to put on snorkel coats and go into this ice cave, but we did it. I hope that was relaxing.
But guess what?
What?
Remember those guys from Trinidad that kept saying, oh yeah, Barbados crop over is light. Y'all need to go to Trinidad. I don't know if you've been, but we're doing a 420 Beauty Bear next year, February. So we're doing a team. So get your costume ready.
Oh yeah, well, no doubt. I'm actually I'm definitely interested. A couple of the shows I have, we need to do a retreat, so that would be something. I think that was one of the reasons we actually also were scouting to see when we're filming to go back to Barbados or St. John. But the other thing, no, it was St. Thomas. Were we in St. Thomas or Barbados?
We went to, well, we did both. We went to Barbados and then we went to St. John.
That's right. We did go to, and we went to the it was during the Carnival for Barbados, and that was amazing. Crop over. Well, I think let's talk about just briefly. I know we don't have a whole lot of time, but I just think mentally after COVID, I do a lot of speaking as well. And my focus has been on mental health and bringing together all the resources for people just to make sure, because not everybody has the energy that we have. And so however we can uplift other people, ourselves, and, we can't give away all of our energy, because I've been there too, where, one person has a problem and I'm that person that can sit there and listen and give the positive feedback. But then I also realize that could be draining. So I guess my advice is how I kind of stay balanced in my wellness is to not take on other people's problems too much. I can give advice and encouragement, and then I let it go. I have to release it. So that, I think, going into this new year in 2023, I realize I can't be the savior for everyone. I have to focus on myself. And just, that's the one thing I think people say is, you're always so uplifting and you're always so, positive. And that's a great gift. But at the same time, those same people that might not have that strength as I do, I just have to give it and then, let it go. Like, okay, give some encouragement.
That's an important thing, because we talk about boundaries, right? And then also being able to recognize our own individual capacity, because people will suck you dry, or sometimes you have these energy vultures, right? And so, they always sort of, find a way to grab and just suck and suck and suck. And as long as you allow it, they'll continue. So it really is about being able to say, listen, this is what it is I can offer you. Or as I like to say, I can hold the space for this period of time, but then after I, hold that space, then I'm gonna have to release that space. And that's basically what you're saying. It's an interesting thing I think about earlier in my career. I was that kind of person always holding space for a lot of folks. But what I had for me was I had some place where space was being held. That was my mom. And then I discovered that after losing my mother and struggling to find spaces where I could be kind of held, relieved, then it was difficult too to kind of regain a balance, because I felt that I was running on E for an extended period of time before being, refilled myself. It didn't change, I think, who I was in terms of my desire to give and hold space, but I just didn't feel like I was being replenished. So I had, periods where I felt like, dang, I'm running low on energy.
Right.
Where do you go to, if your energy is low, where do you go to revive, rejuvenate? Is that to family, or is it,
It could be different places for me. I love to travel with a little one. It's not always, now I'm on a school schedule, so I can't just get up and go and every couple of months and say, okay, now it's time to, go jet setting somewhere. I can't do that. So it's planning. I do a lot of that every couple of months. I do like to get away, even if it's something little. It doesn't always have to be, staying busy. It's just things that are relaxing for me. I often find in entertainment, with all of the nightlife and different things that we do, I tend to not want to be around a whole lot of people, because that's our life, movie premieres and different events and people. Yep, that's all fun. But when I relax, I like to just kind of just do little things, even just walks, or I'll find something special to do with my family. Yeah. And also my girlfriends. We'll just say, hey, we need the girl time once a month, and we'll do potluck and for a few hours. And it's just so relaxing. It's kind of like you get to catch up, you get to, vent and talk about different things, and then have a glass of wine and go home. So those are the kind of things that I do, just being quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that sounds good. Well, I said that pretty soon, as I'm planning this upcoming activity tour, I want to go on a multi-city tour. But then I want to, in addition to that, go on a spa tour. So I want to go shop all my competitors and check out their different locations and see what they have.
Right. Yeah.
That'll be fun. I'll be planning different trips. It's like, hey, you want to go to a spa?
Well, yes, and women and men too like to go to the spa. I'm seeing more men when I go and get a manicure. I see guys in there getting a mani-pedi too, and I think they're good for you, and other things, even if it's a little brief massage while they're sitting in the chair as well. I think that's fantastic what it is that you're doing. And so, continue your journey with that, informing everybody. Not everybody can afford to take a vacation. So I'm glad that you have multiple places you'll be doing it. I'll never forget the time, if you think about it, that we did something with the Black Enterprise, and all of us, we got to bring us girlfriends, and we got to go here locally, but that was a resort. Remember that?
Yes,
how much fun we had?
We had a blast. That was
Yeah.
in what was it? Not all the way to past Carlsbad, so kind of that area, not all the
Right.
way in San Diego. So it was, yes, beautiful
Right.
resort, the golf resort. Yes.
Those
Yes, that
kinds of
was a
things.
lot of fun. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that
Where you have multiple things you can do on one location. It's almost like they say all inclusive, but if you play golf, or if you want that massage, or you want to, run and horseback riding, just, things like that. So I really look forward to your resort and your retreat and all the wonderful things that you're doing. Just for mind, body, and wellness. There's so many people at whatever level you're at. Some people might be struggling, saying, hey, I'm just trying to lose like 15, 20 pounds. That's great too. Wherever it is that a person is at, that, they want to feel better about themselves.
Absolutely. And that's really as simple as it is. I was
Right.
speaking to someone because a lot of it, initially it seemed like we were getting really bombarded with just docs patient lists of, critical care and chronic care. And, and I was like, yeah, but we really are trying to be more, lifestyle
Yeah.
preventative. But, we just went through just a season of so many things as a result of both the pandemic and the before and kind of the aftermath of those particular situations. But definitely what seems to be the big concern, I was looking at the news yesterday, and they were talking about recent studies, is that there's a lot of impact on mental health. And so when we say mind, body and soul, we really are talking about not only understanding the mindset that's necessary, but also understanding that however we fuel our bodies has a big influence on
Right.
our minds.
Hmm.
I was reading something today on one of the IG pages. I don't know if you've ever checked out Pharmacy Black. It's an excellent IG page, and they're always posting valuable information. And so one of the detoxes that they posted today, they were just talking about removal of parasites. And then another one of my friends posted on the Facebook page. She was kind of talking the same thing about removal of parasites. We were talking about that because when Sterling was in Jamaica and we did his body assessment, he's like a walking specimen of wellness, right? But the one thing, because he had been eating junk not as strict as before. And so it's like, well, you have parasites, so you need to detox them, because this season is when the parasites expand and grow. But what you don't realize is parasites influence your thoughts, because it influences your cravings. So if the parasites within your gut are telling you to crave certain things, then that's what you're going to crave. But you're feeding things that then are empowering the toxins to grow in your body. And so, what happens then when you become stressed or under pressure, those toxins go to whatever place that might be vulnerable in your body, and then they set
Right.
up shop. And then that's the beginning of dis-ease. And so it becomes this whole cycle, that if we can just start with recognizing that you need gut health, and
Right.
that typically under US or Western practices,
Mm-hmm.
regular detox schedules have not necessarily been part of what a lot of people practice. And as I see, I talk to families, especially like Jamaican families, this is something that they do on a regular basis, hence why typically they were healthier. But as I see more and more Americanized brands enter their market, now you see them beginning to have
Oh,
things like higher blood pressure, diabetes, especially in the urban markets. So that says to me that there's definitely something about some of the food, how the food is prepared, what it is you're consuming. And so it's essential to get those things out of your body, so that your body can get to a good baseline, so that then, you can put nutrients in your body that will then help you to shift. So,
right.
kind of a little bit of a lengthy way of saying that, yeah, even in, you know, just understanding the mindset of where all these things are related, and the importance of not putting it off. Because I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of times, we women, we carry the household, we carry
Right.
family community connections, we carry our own careers, we carry all of these different things. And oftentimes in doing so, we put ourselves at the bottom of the list, and we find ourselves rushing and all of those things. But guess what? I had to really remember the analogy of when you board a flight and you have a kid and they tell you, no, you need to put your mask on first. And I thought about that. I remember when I had a kid finally and was in that situation, like, out of all the things that they can tell you, and they don't tell you everything, this one thing is part of the most important things to tell you, because that means that your inclination, especially as a mother, traveling with a young kid, would be to try to put the mask on the kid first.
Right.
But if you don't survive, the kid is still going to be in jeopardy of not surviving. So you must make sure that you survive first.
Right. Right. Well, we're talking about mental health and wellness and eating right and detoxing, but another aspect of that I hear all the time is the anxiety. That's just as much of a stressor on your body, your mind, and your health. As much anxiety in any form that it comes.
Mhm.
And so it could be, whatever happens, and it triggers. Mine is I'm a TV and a news person, but I can only take so much. I cannot sit there and listen to all of the horrid things that are coming over on the airwaves all day, or it's just gonna mess with my mood, my mind, and my motivation. So what I find is I get caught up. I know what's happening. I know the worldly events, but again, I shut that off and I focus on what's important. I make goals for myself every day. We all seem to be over bombarded with different things. But when you feel like you're organized and you can, check off that checklist of, okay, I accomplished this, that's where it starts. The wellness starts with setting goals and achieving them, and not putting yourself down where you're trying to do so many. Because I always have a laundry list of things that I'm not going to get to, but realistically is setting goals every day, finding the balance, making time for friends. I used to do one quick thing. I remember talking to this guy years ago that had an agency, and I would find it strange that he would have a bell and a timer for 5 minutes. He would only give people 5 minutes. And I thought, well, that's that's kind of weird. Like that, how can you be in business? But he valued his time, and to the point that, you know, he had things to do. And so I don't think it's that strange now, but just making the balance and the time on your schedule every day to focus on you and what your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish.
Absolutely. So, kind of shifting to a little bit of business, what kind of exciting projects do you see happening this year, kind of going forward?
Well, I actually am in my TV pitch mode right now with all the networks. And I have two documentaries that are really big. One I can mention right now is Sounds of Blackness, 50 Years of Sounds of Blackness. I'm on a historical mission. I'm blessed to be able to get the rights to help people that have stories that matter, that other people should hear, and the ones of significance. So Sounds of Blackness, hi Gary Hines, and Sounds of Blackness are great. And so over the summer, we'll start filming that. I have another project that is a historical piece that is really close to me that I'm working on and setting that up right now also to film over the summer. And in between that, I have a lot of fun, different things, and fingers crossed, they'll get picked up. You know, some reality shows and just things that kind of the content still makes a difference to people, things that you haven't seen. I'm a think outside of the box kind of person. So
Absolutely. Well, I know you always have great creative projects. And, you know, I was actually talking about you to someone yesterday because I was saying, you know, part of what we're going to capture is the thought leadership when we have different wellness weeks. We book people that will also do like conversations or fireside chats during different weeks. So there might be a different author or speaker or something like that that's featured during a particular week. But I was saying how I wanted to capture some of this in like documentary style. Some of this stuff could be captured in almost like a little bit of a reality show. And I was saying, well, the reason that I know about reality shows was when they first began, my friend Wendy was going to be creating some stuff. And she asked me to look at some shows to see what ideas I could come up with. And I said, and that's what started me looking at different shows. And I said, and I did see some concepts that I definitely like and that I would love, you know, to do. Like I love the guy's show Billion Dollar Buyer. Like that's how I see my social impact in all of these countries where we open up market, like in Jamaica, where I plan to train and develop 100,000 farmers and entrepreneurs to create generational wealth. That kind of giving them an opportunity to be able to bid on projects that then help to grow their families' businesses. And, you know, I have all of these are all tools and things that I've already developed. So when I come in and say, well, this is an initiative that I can act on, it's not like, oh, well, it's something I need to go and create. It's like, no, all we have to do is empower the community. And what I have to do is I have to set up tech centers around the island so that I can then deploy because they don't have access to technology in many of these communities. And so that's, you know, kind of like the precursor to being able to implement. But as soon as I have the tech centers set up, you know, I could push, you know, start and everybody's connected and we can start that process because I've built those things. And so, you know, so it's really exciting. And I would love for that to be captured. I
right.
would love for somebody to want, because, you know, then all the countries in Africa where we're opening up, you know, and our goal this year, I think have a short list, but about 10 different countries that we have that we're planning to hit before the end of this year, you know, just in going into those markets. We're already established in South Africa in Lesotho, but we also have, you know, multiple. We have Kenya, we have Ethiopia, we have Uganda, we have all of these other opportunities
Mm-hmm.
that have been presented. So, you know, it's definitely this idea, but thinking of how those shows and how to capture that, but monetize so that those efforts are sustainable.
Right. You know, really quick, I know the time is going past, but some of the shows that I create, you know, focuses on that. And I think I'm cognizant about it. I have a couple. One is a designer that I represent in an interior design show where we are doing a project in the Bahamas. and it's a hotel that will provide 20,000 jobs. Those are the kind of things now, like you said, giving back to the community. So we're not just creating shows, we're creating shows with people and experts that are also going to be able to provide jobs to other people and bringing it back to the communities. So, yep, we're in line with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Wendy, if somebody wanted to find out more about your work or connect with you, how would they do that?
Well, they could go. So I have my business is called Tinseltown Productions and Management. And you can go to tinseltownmanagement.com is my website. I am on Instagram, as busy as I am. I'm a pretty private person, but I'm learning the social media aspect. Well, I say private, and I was on radio for like 20 years. But what I'm saying is I can't be accessible to everyone, but I am getting into the Instagram game. So you can join me at Wendy E. Wheaton. I think I do have 2 pages. Wendy Wheaton's fine too, but Wendy E. Wheaton is the one that I use. And of course on Facebook and Twitter as well.
And Twitter as well. Well, fantastic. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to come on and have a conversation with me today, joining me for Naked with Dr. Money. And I'm sure we'll be able to catch up again because, as projects progress, but planning for wellness getaways, I want to plan one of those. I think we need to do a girlfriends getaway. We also probably need to do some production getaway. I always am creative when I go away. So I like to also have work sessions.
Just pick the destination now. We have options. So pick the destination. I'm there.
All right. And that's the plan. That's the plan. So thank you.
Thank you. Fun. Look forward to following you too. Okay, great. Thanks, everyone.
Fantastic. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in today. Hey, Alicia, I see you out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. As you see, Naked with Dr. Money is really just that. It's an opportunity for me to catch up with some of my magnificent friends and colleagues out in the world doing amazing things, but also to just share, what are some of the things that influence our respective mindsets? What are the motivations, and how are we manifesting those things as it relates to the work that we're doing? And while doing all of those things, how are we aiming to maintain our wellness? Well, I hope you'll check me out at 420wellnessjamaica.com and schedule one of your wellness weeks. We will have some upcoming summer packages that are going to be launched for 420 Beauty Bear. Those are the 4-day packages. So definitely, if they're not visible when you go to the website, sign up so that you're on the mailing list. And as soon as those packages are released, you'll be first to know. And so hopefully you'll be able to do that. And then remember, guys, every Wednesday, Naked with Dr. Money, noon to 12:30 Pacific time. So I hope you join me again so that we can continue another wonderful conversation where, again, I'm taking you a little bit behind the scenes on how it is I am managing my mind, body, and soul while building this multinational wellness organization. Join me, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.